Hashem, we're up to chapter 1, verse 8. The pasuk says, "Re'ei nasati lifnechem es haaretz." Behold, I have placed before you the land. Bo rishu es haaretz. Come and inherit the land. Asher nishba Hashem avosechem. And Hashem swore to your fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Come and take the land that Abraham swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them and to their seeds afterwards. Rashi says, "Be'einechem atem." Oh, Elliot, you read the Rashi.
בעיניכם אתם רואים, הנה אומר לכם, עומד ומשמוע.
Right, Rashi says, you see it with your own eyes. You see the land with your own eyes. You're not hearing about it or speculating about it. You see it with your own eyes. Come and take possession. Borashu, what does that mean?
In Devarim, in Ham, chiefing the Nafama, low Yaku, Raglan, low chiefing the Zan.
Right, he says, come and inherit it. There's no one opposing it. Really, you didn't need a war. You could have just walked in. If you had not sent miraglim, if you're not sent to spies, you would not have needed weapons. And that's what Rashi says. It was sworn to your fathers. So go on, Elliot.
He's scared.
Why does it say again to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? It says to your forefathers, to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. It could have just said to your forefathers or to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Why did it say both?
Abraham kedai la'atzmo, Yitzchak kedai la'atzmo, Yaakov kedai la'atzmo.
And to tell us that each one of them was worthy on their own to cause the Bnei Israel to inherit the land. Va'omar, pasuk tet, va'omar eichem, va'esa hilemor, va'uchal v'vadis eiseschem. And I said to you at that time, I can't do it by myself. Now this is already a different version of what we had in Exodus. In Exodus, Yisro was the one who said it to Moshe. But here, Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who says it by himself. I cannot do it by myself. He says, I can't do it by myself. So, all good. Grab a chumash back there. Eicha is the chumashim. So he says, I can't do it by myself. What does it mean? Ba'esahi le'mor. What does the word le'mor mean there? Says, I don't say it on my own, but God is the one who told me I can't do it by myself. Meaning to say, Hashem told me I couldn't. Hashem told me to say this, that I couldn't do it by myself. That it was and lo chalavadi. Says I can't do it by myself.
Moshe Yaakov Ladon et Yisrael. Adam she'votziim mi'Mitzrayim ekara lahem et Yam. Horez et Haman. Et Shalom. Lo haya yakol ledonam. Ila kam kamar lahem Hashem elokechem herbe'ethem.
So let me just say what we said till now. So Rashi says, "Efshar shaloya Moshe yachol ladun et Israel." Is it even possible that Moshe could not have judged the Jewish people? How could you say that it was too much for Moshe? Adam shotziam mitzrayim, the person who led them out of Egypt. Karo amasayam, he split the sea. Horidus aman, he brought down the manna. Higizas haslav, he made the quail come and fly them. You think it would be too much? So rather, this is what Moshe Rabbeinu said to them. Hashem Elokechem hirba'aslem. Hashem, your God, has increased you. He has made you great and raised you over your judges. Go on. Mikem. He took the punish from you, and he placed it on the judges. Meaning to say, what does it mean God took the punishment from you when he placed it on the judges? That if a judge makes a mistake in his ruling, the judge has to pay. The Gemara says at the beginning of Masechet Sanhedrin. So go on. Thus Shlomo says, that's what Shlomo Melech said in 1 Kings. Who can judge it? And how can you say that about Shlomo Melech, about the one whom it says that Shlomo was wiser than any man, and he could say, who can do it? So this is what Shlomo Melech was saying. The judges of this nation are not like the judges of the other nations. She'emdan v'horeg u'makev v'chonek u'mated tino v'gozel im b'kach klum. That of the other nations, if he kills somebody or hits somebody or strangles or perverts his judgment or he steals, there's no punishment. But ani im chiyavti mamon shelo kedin nifashos ani nitba. If I make somebody pay money improperly, then I'm taking souls. Shenevar v'kaves koveim nafesh. So Shlomo Melech is saying that the judges of the Jewish people, it's not that it's too hard physically. It's just, it's a very hard job because the judge has to pay for it out of his own pocket, and the judge is personally responsible. So the next pasuk says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Hashem Elokechem, your Ba'aslem, Hashem your God has increased you. V'hinchem hayom, and he multiplied you today, or behold, you are today like kinei. Hinchem is like kinei. Behold, you are today kecholfei hashemayim l'rov, like the numerous stars of the sky. Eicha, you want to read the Rashi? Pasuk Yud. Pasuk Yud. Right, so Rashi says, what do you mean you're today like the stars of the sky? You're not like the stars. You're only 600,000. There are many more stars in the sky. We now know today that there are an infinite number of stars. It's always growing. So what does it mean, Hinchem hayom? Behold, you are compared to the day. Hinchem mishulim kayom. You last forever like the sun, the moon, and the stars. Do the stars last forever? Don't they sometimes blow up? Do the stars blow up? So, yeah, but maybe Rashi didn't realize that. He said you last almost forever. And, what?
6 billion years left.
Only 6 billion years left of the sun?
Yeah.
Then we're done.
We're gonna have problems.
We have major problems. The human beings. The world will be so much better without the human beings, right? Okay. Then it says, Hashem Elokechem Hashem, the God of your fathers, Yosef Aleichem Kachem Elef Pamim. He will add to you 1,000 times. Vivarech Echem Kasher Diber Lechem, and he'll bless you just like he spoke to you. Hashem will add to you 1,000 times. What does it mean here, Elliot? Read the Rashi. Yeah, okay, Elliot, you read the Rashi. What did he say it twice? He says in the pasuk, he will add to you 1,000-fold, and then it says he will bless you again, kasher diber lechem, like he spoke to you. Why does he have to say it twice? So when Moshe said that God will bless you 1,000-fold, they said, Moshe, why are you limiting us? Why are you putting a number on it? We think it's an infinite blessing. No, that's a number on it. And he says, it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're putting a number on it, Moshe said. God said, the people said to Moshe, Anotin kitzva lebirchotenu. Kvar evtiach HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Abram. God already promised to Abram that there'll be so many blessings that you won't be able to count. So go on. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, that was my blessing. I blessed you that thousandfold. But his blessing was that he will bless you just like he spoke to you. That'll be impossible to count, the blessing that God gives you. Beautiful. Okay, next pasuk, Yud Bet. Eicha, so there's a tradition to read this pasuk, the tune of Eicha. Eicha solef adi, tarchachem u'masa'achem, v'rivchem. Moshe Rabbeinu said, how can I do this by myself? Your troubles, tarchachem u'masa'achem, and your burdens, v'rivchem, and your quarrels. But the truth is, even though this is read to the tune of Eicha, that is actually not a sad verse, because Moshe Rabbeinu is looking at this pasuk. He's looking at how the Jewish people have grown, and he's overjoyed, and he's saying, "Look how great you are! How can I judge you? Look how I can't do it over myself. You're too big. It's not just a small group of people we were when we first met in Egypt. Those 600,000 of you. I can't do it." So, who are the other prophets who said Eicha? Yirmiyahu, Eicha, so that's written by Jeremiah.
So the word Eicha just shows up like a few times here and there.
Yeah, but who's the other most famous prophet to say it aside from Moshe saying it here and Jeremiah? Who's the other one who's the most famous? What? Correct. When does Isaiah say it? Isaiah says it. When do we read the words of Isaiah? When do we read the words of Isaiah with this word Eicha? When do we read that?
Probably somewhere in the 3 weeks.
We read it, my friends. This Shabbos. What is this Shabbos called? Shabbat? Shabbat Chazon. The Shabbos before Tisha B'Av is always called the Shabbat Chazon. Chazon means a vision. Chazon Yeshayahu ben Amotz, Asher Chazal Yehuda. Vision of Isaiah, the son of Amotz, who had a vision on Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziyahu. And what does he say as part of his vision? Verse 21 of chapter 1 of Isaiah. He says, Eicha Aita, anybody remember? Eicha Aita Lizona, Kirya Namana. How has this city become a harlot? This once faithful city, Melesi Mishpat, this city that was full of justice. Tzadik Yalinba, righteousness used to live in this city, and now now it's a bunch of murderers. So that's Isaiah. So Isaiah's verse, Isaiah looks at the city of Jerusalem and shouts Eicha in a cry of horror at what the city has become. Jeremiah uses the word Eicha and laments. Eicha Yashva Badad, Ha'ir Abasiam, the city which was once filled. The streets and the markets were filled, and now they're empty. The city is abandoned. But Moshe Rabbeinu is the opposite. He's saying, Eicha, this city, this people, we once had no courts. We once had no nation. Now we've got a government. We've got judges. We've got people. Eicha, how can I do it? So the word Eicha is an exclamation. And so that's what it means. Like it's a guttural cry. What's the first question God asks man? Eicha, how? Really? He says, Eicha, where are you? But it could also mean, how could you have done this to me? Eaten from the tree. How could you have done this? It's a question of just like utter disbelief at the situation for bad and for good. God asks man, Ayaka, but he also saying, Eicha, how could you do this? I think if God come down today and talk to us, if God would come down, he definitely could, but if he would, he might say Eicha to us. What are you doing to my world? What are you doing to my world? I gave it to you. I gave you this world and you turned it into a Lord of the Flies. Right? Do they make you read that in Israel? Do you get to read that? Or maybe your Bobby could pick you up a copy before you go. Lord of the Flies. That's a classic.
They canceled it. Yes.
They canceled it?
Yeah.
Why? Too realistic? Too realistic. Too realistic. You always have to have hope for the future. But it's a very important book. And I read it when I was your age. Yeah. Now you're living it. Okay, so anyway, Eicha, let's read the Rashi. Whose turn is it? Elichai, go on. Eicha Selavadi.
זוהי שאמרתי לכם, לא מעצמי אני אומר לכם, אלא מפי הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Eicha Selavadi. Im Omar, if I say, if I say that I'm going to do this in order to receive reward, lo uchal, I wouldn't be able. Zu she'amarti lachem. This is what I said to you. Only atzmi ani umarchem. I'm not saying this on my own, but from God. So Rashi is saying, you have to read Rashi. Rashi, because otherwise it's problematic. Moshe's like whining about his job. Moshe, how can Moshe be whining about his job? This is Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rashi says Moshe Rabbeinu is not the one speaking here. It's God telling Moshe what to say. Because he said, the way Rashi reads Moshe saying this, he said, if I were to say that I should do it by myself just to make a living, I still wouldn't be able to. This is why I said to you earlier, I'm not saying this on my own, but God is telling me what to say. Tarchachem, read the next Rashi, Archai.
מלמד שלא ישראל תרחנים, היה אחד מהם רואה את בעל דינו נוצח דין, אומר יש עדים להביא, יש לך רק להביא, מוסיף אני הלכם דיינים.
So this teaches that the Jewish people were tarchanim. They were troublemakers. So if one of them saw that his echad me'em roet baldino notzeach b'din, if he saw that the person his opposition was winning, he would say yesh li edim, yesh li rayot, mosif ani alechem dayanim. He would do some legal tricks.
This seems to be something different. It seems to be negative.
This part,
not positive.
yeah, this.
You said most earlier. You said Moshe saying something positive when he was saying.
Okay, very good, Elichai. Excellent. I was saying that Moshe is not 100% positive, but it's certainly a much different problem than the problem of Jeremiah and Isaiah. Jeremiah and Isaiah saw their nation destroyed. Moshe saw his nation growing too big. And he's talking about the problems of growth. The problems of growth. He says that the Jews, it's very hard to be a judge for the Jews because they know how to use the legal system to manipulate it, to extend it out. So that's what it means. But very good, Elichai. Okay, Masachem, the burden. What is that called? Melamed.
מלמד שהפרוסות. הקדימו שעשות אמרו מה רע בלמרום לצאת.
So what does an apikoros mean? Apikoros, colloquially today, it means like somebody who is a heretic. But here Rashi means that an apikoros is somebody who does not give honor to a Torah scholar. Really, the word apikoros comes from what language? Excellent. this is where we need your grandfather Elichai Howie would tell us that Epicurus is a Greek word, comes from the people called Epicureans, and it would give us the connection between Epicureans and Epicurus. And since we don't have him with us, we have to do a lot of work on our own just to
Were they
understand
like
it.
a type of barbarian?
Not a barbarian.
Why is it named after them?
So I think, again, here, I'm not the Greek scholar, but I think that the Epicureans took an attitude to the world which was antithetical to the Torah. In the sense, I think, again, go probably check this, I mean, like 1 minute, but I think the Epicureans believed that there was no like providence in the world, like God was not controlling the world.
Like atheist.
No, I don't think exactly. Maybe like atheists, but maybe they just felt like
Or specifically opposing.
they just said that God was like not involved in the day to day. Yeah, maybe I don't know exactly. They had some sort of theology. Maybe I don't know. We'd have to look at it exactly.
Yeah, the reason I asked.
Is that what the Epicureans said? So they just felt like we can live our life without thinking about the consequences of our action.
Yeah, the reason I asked that is like a lot of like things are named after like barbarians and stuff like vandalism, for example, comes from that.
Yeah, but the barbarians was a name. Now
That's also something.
yeah, but that we're talking about the Roman government was invaded by the barbarians. So that's that's the Roman government. Here we're talking about the Greek. The Greeks were earlier. The barbarians, yeah, the barbarians were the people who the Romans called the invaders from Europe.
Here in the Mishnah.
What?
First.
It's in the Mishnah, but I don't know the first time it appears. We have to look at, you have to get a scholar of etymology. Yeah, for sure, because it's a Greek word, but we wanted to know exactly when it appeared. I mean, you have to do some research and scholarship on it. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot written on it. I'm just, yeah, you can find the answer. You just have to spend like a half hour reading an article about Epicurus in Wikipedia, and you'll get the answer. You won't get the exact answer because Wikipedia is not always the right answer, but I'm saying you'll get the direction where to go in. You'll get a good direction. You're not allowed to cite Wikipedia because it could always be changed. You don't know who the last person is. The person wrote something. But Wikipedia will often send you to articles, and you can check up those articles. But today, colloquially, it just means somebody who's just not, his faith is not consistent with Jewish faith. Okay. Tarachachem, Melamed, okay, Matzechem, Shahayu Apikorsin. Elichai, Vakasha. Moshe started leaving. If he went home early to judge the people, Amro, they say, why is Ben Amram going home early? Why is he leaving work? And also, Ben Amram is a disrespectful way. Go on. Maybe he's having family, domestic trouble. Let's say he left late. They say, why is Ben Amram not leaving? He's sitting and making plans against you. So whatever Moshe Rabbeinu did, he couldn't win. They were challenging Moshe Rabbeinu. This is the fate of a Jewish leader. Nobody will ever be like Moshe, and Moshe wasn't able to have to live a life free of suspicions, etc. With leadership comes opposition. Okay, the last word here, Virivchem. They were Rognim. The Jewish people were petty. So Moshe Rabbeinu here attributes the idea to appoint judges for himself. They said, I'll just tell you this idea because I'll tell you this story. It says that Moshe says, and you said to me, it's good that what you said. And then later on, it also tells about the spies. And Moshe Rabbeinu said that after that, he said, after they have to send out spies, it says, the matter was good in my own eyes. But Rashi there says on that, in my eyes it was good, but not in the eyes of God. So the question is, if it was not good in the eyes of God, why did God tell him to do it? So the answer is because sometimes people God lets us do things even though it's not the right thing to do, because it's not the ideal. God lets us figure things out. So I heard Rabbi Fran give a Dvar Torah earlier this week, and Rabbi Fran gave a shiur. He said that the 1940s, and then there was a boxing match in New York between Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis, and the boys in the yeshiva came to the Rosh Yeshiva of Telz, and they said, we want to push off Ma'ariv. And he says, we want to push off Ma'ariv. Why do you want to push off Ma'ariv? Because we want to watch the boxing match. And he said, or listen to the boxing match. And the Rosh Yeshiva said, okay, you can do that. And he let them do it. And he obviously didn't care for boxing, but he wanted to help the boys become better. Anyway, just so happened he wanted bring the boys, make it. He didn't want to turn them off. Basically, he wanted to be a little flexible. And today I happened to be talking with a man named Dmitry Salita. Anybody remember him? Dmitry was once he was a Golden Glove boxer, and he's now a boxing promoter. He's like probably one of the 5 biggest boxing promoters. And he told me, and I told him this Dvar Torah for Shabbos, because Dmitry had a big fight on Saturday night, and it was like 20,000 people there, and 19,000 of them were not white people, and the other 1,000 were Arabs. It was in Detroit, and Dmitry went on the ring after the match wearing his kippah. So I could show you pictures of it if you want. So I said, Dmitry, I told him this Dvar Torah. He said, I want to tell you my Dvar Torah. He said, this is how I became a religious Jew. He said, I was boxing in this tournament for the Golden Gloves, and I lost the match before the tournament. And so I went to my rabbi, asked him, what should I do? And the rabbi said, let's ask the Rebbe. So they did the Igeris HaKodesh. They did like a thing. You open up the Rebbe's writings. I have the book there. Whatever page it falls on, that's how you know what the Rebbe's answer was. And the Rebbe's answer was, the way he took it was, do what you need to do because it's your calling, but don't violate the Shabbos. So he said, so he took upon himself, I'm not going to violate the Shabbos. And he entered the Golden Glove tournament. And the first match he won, the second match he won. The finals, finals of the Golden Glove was scheduled for Shabbos at 2:00. And he said, I can't box in it. I'm sorry. So this was more than 20 years ago. The boxing nowadays is not a big Jewish thing. So the boxing tournament said, we'll move the fight to Saturday night. He moved it to Saturday night. Dmitry won. He didn't violate the Shabbos, and now to this day, I assume he keeps the Shabbos like a great Jew. But he wore his kippah in front of 20,000. Half of them were probably not lovers of Jews. I could just say from the crowd, they looked rough. But Dmitry was a proud Jew. So I told Dmitry, I said, a kippah is good, but if you really want some style, next time you go in the boxing ring, you'll wear the shtreimel. All right, let's dive in mincha.